like a Hellcat.
Good morning, everyone. I am here to report about the bread and pastry2 about the presenting and plating sponges and cakes. So, what is plating? Plating is essential in the bread and pastry. It usually to make markets because customers eat with their eyes first. So, plating is a process of arranging and decorating the bread and pastry, which to improve the presentation itself. Like the painter, the pastry chef section artistically plan how the cake and dish presented well. And the two ways of displaying cakes is either in the fridge or display in a buffet table. Always makita man kita kung asa po ang mga cakes to cool the temperature para dili maguba yung icing and yung frosting. And especially sa mga buffet or catering services na may buffet table which the cakes and dessert both there. These are the key points should consider in presenting cakes. Number 1 will be the presentation. Presentation, a well-presented display attract customers to buy the product. So, kung nindot ang presentation, it will attract the customer to buy it. Second, seasonal products. Considered the event of the month, whether it's Valentine's, Christmas days, holidays, and other events. Third is organize. Keep the display clean and tidy at all times. Fourth, the proportions. Displaying cake according to size and completeness. Never allow display of the cake with only one slice remains. Fifth, the accessory. Cake should have cake board to serve an underliner for the cake. It should be at least a bit bigger than the actual cake. Doily can always be used in enhancing visual presentation of the cakes. Presenting cakes, it depends on the flawless finishing of its icing, decoration, and its serving plate where it's displayed. So, ang pag-presenting sa cake, it should be presented well. It's after the presentation because it will capture the most. And how the decoration complement each other. Because in the term of the bread and pastry, we must be innovative and customize the perfect and nicely showing the correct and perfect presentation of a cakes or even a desserts. These are the 10 tips for successful when presenting cakes. First will be use a good recipe. A good recipe produce a good product. Second, use the tin size stated in the recipe and line it well. So what is stated in the recipe, you should follow. Third, preheat the oven. Before we start, we must preheat the oven because it takes a long time to absorb the heat. Fourth, be accurate with weights and ingredients. So we must follow the perfect measurement of the ingredients to produce a good quality of the cake. Fifth, make sure ingredients are the right temperature. There are ingredients that needed in the right temperature like the buttercream, the fats, and the eggs. Next would be get as much air in the cake as you can. You must be careful of the air because it will affect the quality wise of the cakes. 7. Once the cake's mixture is made up, put it straight in the oven. After it will done well together with the mixing. Together with all you mix, put the cake in the oven immediately. 8. Put the cake on the correct shelf and keep the oven door closed. So we must be careful, keep the door of the oven closed because it will affect the good quality of the cakes. 9. Stick with the cooking times. So it's stated on the recipe, there are stated that the cake will finish for 2 hours. You must follow. And then, cooling times. You have observed after it's done, put on the table and wait for its cooling times before the cake is finished. Thanks.
So, let us proceed components in plating cakes. So, have 7 components in plating cakes. First, main item is the cake itself. So it means it is the consistency with cake serving size. Then second, sauce. Sauce give an extra moisture appearance to the dried dessert. And third is crunch components give a constructing texture and enhance the dessert being served. Fourth, garnishing. Garnishing is known to be the final components of a dessert and will complete the total appearance of the product. Then 5, texture. Texture give smoothness, creaminess, flatness, and crispiness. Number 6, temperature contrast means. So you should placing a hot or cold item to cake. 7, form and color. Colors bring an appetizing look to cakes, and form give the uniqueness of the cake in terms of plating. So why it is very important to have a components in plating cakes? So it gives the beauty of the plated dish that entices you to take a bite. Plating makes the experience of food more than just eating and enjoying, but further into an expression of craftsmanship and art, using the form, texture, and color to invoke emotions and even tell a story. And that's all. Thank you.
I'm Janine Quinto, and my report is all about the characteristic of a good cake. In other important factor that a bakery or pastry owner needs to consider is how to maintain the freshness and the quality of the products. So, these are the characteristics of a well-baked cake. Number 1, it must be moist enough but not wet. Cake should not hard and crumbling. 2, it should have good texture. 3, it must have consistent color. 4, it must have the right odor. If it's chocolate, it should smell like chocolate. 5, if it's firm in the middle but not burn on the outside. Shortened cakes are also known as the butter conventional or cream cakes, are the most commonly prepared types, especially for the birthday and wedding celebration. So, here are the characteristics of a shortened cakes.
Appearance usually has round top, no cracks. Uniform color throughout crust and crumb, thin crust. High volume, tenderness. Shortened cakes can be handled easily, yet breaks apart without difficulty. Seems to melt in your mouth. For flavor, it's a delicate sweet flavor. Well blended. Texture, soft velvety crumb, even grain, small thin walled air cells. Free of tunnels, smooth or moist mouth feel, not sticky, light but not crumbly. Icing decoration. Icing usually firm and does not melt. Stable icing and decorative item. Example of shortened cake.
Next is the unshortened cake or foam cake. Foam, sponge, or unshortened cakes are distinguished by their large proportion of foam eggs or egg whites to a small proportion of sugar and wet flour. So these are the characteristics of foam or unshortened cakes.
Appearance has thin golden brown crust with uniform crown color, rough, slightly cracked top crust, symmetrical, optimum volume, tenderness, moist, soft crust and crumb, delicate crumb that is easily broken apart. Flavor, pleasant, well blended, not eggy. Texture, light in weight in proportion to size, well accreted. Finer, even oval-shaped cells with thin walls. Sugary, slightly sticky crust. Icing decoration, icing usually firm and does not melt. Stable icing and decorative item. Example of unshortened cakes.
The ultimate objective is to continuously attract your customer and to maintain your product in a well-presented manner.
So, good day everyone. My name is Alfred Antonio Piesa and this is my report. So, guide for cutting portion of cake. When using a knife to cut a slice, mark it the surface for the number of pieces required. By marking cuts directly through the middle of the cake, a cake divided greatly helps when learning how to make even more numbers of portions. If a soft icing cream or chocolate coating is used to may be necessarily to pre-cut the sides using knife dip in hot water to cut through the hard crust and to prevent the soft icing or cream being flattened. Cut through the cake carefully. You submerge the blade of your knife, preferably a long thin blade, in hot water in a tall jug or tin. Then dry the warm blade between each cut. It is important to cut when even motions and pressure, not to tear and squash, and to hold the blade very straight to prevent cutting in an angle. Use a moistened cloth or some paper towel to clean the blade from any sticky fillings, glazes before the next cut. Accuracy in cutting cakes is necessary in any food establishments. People who are not trained to cut a cake tend to cut slices that are inconsistent in proportion. Table 17. Cake cutting guides. Number of inches, number of slices. So there are two shapes, square and round. So first one, 10 inches, 50 slices per square shape, 40 slices for round shape. Next one is 12 inch, 72 slices of square shape, 60 slices of round shape. 14 inches, 98 slices of square shapes, 80 slices of round shapes. Next one is 16 inches, 128 slices of square shape, 100 slices of round shapes. 18 inches, 192 slices of square shape, 150 slices of round shape. So next, the best way to avoid being blamed for other people's cake cutting mistakes is to provide customers with cake cutting instructions together with the cake. The following points are tips in cutting cakes. First one is, for larger cakes, it is best to have two people to slice complex cakes. One will do the cutting and the other will distribute the cake slice. Next one is, for every few slices, wipe the knife with a clean damp towel. This should be done to avoid have sticky knife which can destroy the shape of the cake. And lastly, for larger cake with tiers and separators, have enough room to rest all the inedible equipment. So that's all, and thank you.
Good day everyone, this is George Rosales from Team Bantok. Today we're going to tackle about layer cake for the subject bread and pastry 2. So let's start. A layer cake is a cake consisting of multiple stacked sheets of cake held together by frosting or another type of filling such as jam or other preserves. Most cake recipes can be made into layer cakes. Butter cakes and sponge cakes are common choices. So cake is often served as a celebratory dish on ceremonial occasions such as weddings, anniversaries, and birthdays, and sa tanang klase nga occasion. And there are countless cake recipes. Some are bread-like, some are rich and elaborate, and many are centuries old. And today, arita sa klase sa cakes. So, iba kasagaran ko na round cake and naasay square or rectangle cake. So first, arita sa round cake. So we're going to learn on how to cut. Diba? So, para og na mga event or na mga occasions sa ato ibaw na tao sa pagkat. So arita sa round cake, for example, in cutting a 12-inch round cake to be cut in 3 concentric circles, use the tip of your knife to mark the center of the cake, the border of inner circle, and the border of the middle circle. So it means you're going to use kanang tumoy sa imong knife. Dapat it should be on center sa cake para dili siya, para ini slice yun mo straight siya and dili siya balikod. And outer circle will be provide 32 servings. So that is for 12-inch round. So sa kinaubsan na siya sa 12-inch o sa 10th round. So it serves 20 to 30 person. So and then sa 9-inch round serves 15 to 20. Then arita sa square cakes. Square cake or rectangular cakes are much easier to cut. Dali ra masay cut kay kuan naman siya. Igor naman siya banabanaon na nimo para ma-stage sa, unlike sa round cake kay layer mo siya mo nang lisod kayo. So number 1, make the marking on the cake before cutting. Number 2, if the cake is small, the tip of the knife is enough to lead the markings. If the cake is large, make small markings at 2-inch intervals in 2 opposite sides of cakes. So kasagaran kaning rectangular cakes or square cakes, dali ra siya i-cut it. I-compare nimo sa round cakes. That's all for my report. Thank you very much for listening.